Hey guys, it's been a while since I've actually done a random discussions video. I just want to talk a little bit about some nerdy stuff here. And two things is going to be. It's going to be about Star Wars Episode 8, which is going to be a short reaction to it. Because I actually heard about the title the other day, and I never got a chance to make a video. This is the only time I have some free time. And secondly, I want to talk about Final Fantasy 15, since the hype has died down from it, and I'm pretty sure nobody would try to kill me if I say anything against this game. So starting off first, Star Wars Episode 8, we have the new title. It's called The Last Jedi. Now this can mean a couple of things. There's already theories going around. Number one, the most popular one seems to be that Luke Skywalker might die in this film, especially considering he's going to be way more prominent in here. Not that we're going to get rid of the new characters like Rey and Finn. I'm sure Finn will show up at one point. They've already seen like some scenes with him showing up, and then of course we have Rey, who Luke is training. But I can't wait to see how powerful Luke's going to be, because there have been some leaks. I'm not going to say it here. Of exactly what's going to happen in the future, but I look forward to seeing Luke's powers. So the first theory is that Luke Skywalker dies, and that the title is kind of a giveaway, considering that The Last Jedi is definitely referring to Luke Skywalker. This was the thing that Yoda actually said during the Return of the Jedi. When Yoda was dying and passing away, he tells Luke that you'll be the last of the Jedi. Since you're the last of the Jedi, let's try to rebuild this thing, what we fought for, peacekeepers. This is what Jedi are. And after what happens in the prequels, we know that Yoda and the Star Wars Clone Wars TV show, which does a much better job of giving backstories to these characters and why they end up thinking this way towards A New Hope. What happened to them in the past, and how Jedi inserted themselves into the war and they became generals, and they realized that maybe that wasn't such a good idea. They were starting to be stretched thin. Jedi was being killed off. It was just horrible. The war was terrible, especially the Battle of Geonosis being one of the worst ones during the Clone Wars. Realizing this, Yoda has basically brought on a new perspective. He even, as we can see in Empire Strikes Back, he even starts to show Luke that the dark side of the Force. Not necessarily teaching him, but letting him learn about the dark side. Whereas before, Yoda, Mace Windu and stuff, Mace Windu kind of used the dark side, but a lot of the Jedi back then, oh, the dark side's evil, you can't learn anything from it, which is so funny, because this actually kind of reminds me of Kingdom Hearts a little bit. And, well, I should say Kingdom Hearts reminds me of that, because that's where Kingdom Hearts got the idea from. Trying to find that balance between the light and the dark. And Luke, I think, in Episode 8 might find that balance, but because the word last is there, people think that Luke may die in this film. I don't think that's going to happen. Mark Hamill, his reaction gave no indication of that. But even then, he wouldn't tell. He definitely wouldn't tell. He's so used to being under contracts with films. I doubt he'll say anything to compromise or to spoil anything. Then there's another theory about the fact that The Last Jedi could refer to either Kylo or Rey. And what I mean by Kylo is that he did train as a Padawan under Luke Skywalker in Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy before he ultimately betrayed them with the Knights of Ren and Snook and everything, and he was corrupted to the dark side. But even as a Padawan, you're still considered the Last Jedi. So we might get some backstory on that, because we got nothing but a flashback scene in Episode 7, and a lot of people thought that they picked the flashback apart, but people still don't fully know what happened at Luke's Jedi Academy. Except for the fact that pretty much all of them die and then the temple gets burned down or something like that. I think that's the speculation. But we still haven't seen exactly what happened, or we got any backstory on that. Hopefully we'll get some flashback in Episode 8. I'm so looking forward to that. Or, like I said, it can refer to Rey being the Last Jedi. Once again, this goes back to the Luke Skywalker death theory, that maybe Luke is possibly going to die at the end of this film, mostly because people saw Episode 7 and they realized the similarities between that and A New Hope. People assuming that this is going to be similar to Empire or Return of the Jedi in terms of having the mentor die and then the student, the apprentice, takes over as far as Jedi. It'd be more emotional that way. Personally, if they kill Luke Skywalker, I'm gonna fucking riot, because I am so pissed of them killing off characters that I like. You know, I had to go through Obi-Wan's death. I almost cried as a kid, and I had to go to Yoda's death. I definitely cried as a kid when Yoda died. So, and this was before we saw the prequels back in the 90s when they re-released them for the special editions, and oh man, it was so sad. I don't want to go through it again, man. I haven't got over Han Solo. In 2015, I still haven't gotten over Han Solo. And with the passing of our beloved Carrie Fisher, man, I did make a video on that, but may she rest in peace. I don't know what they're going to do for episode 9, or considering that she finished filming for episode 8, I have no idea what they're going to do with, maybe they might recast her, or they might kill her off in this episode. Either way, it's definitely sad to see that happen, to see this actress go, and ultimately this is going to change the outcome for the Star Wars universe. So Luke dies and Rey becomes the new Jedi. She ends up finishing her training with Luke by doing something or another, I'm sure, even though some people want her to turn to the dark side. I actually think it would be more memorable if she was kind of like Luke and she used some of the dark side, but then she realized Luke didn't return the Jedi. Like, no, this isn't the Jedi way, and she stays on the light. But of course, people who want something different, and then they get mad when they get something different. I don't understand the fan base sometimes. Personally, I would rather her not turn to the dark side. But I would rather Kylo Ren be brought back to the light somehow, and he feels like he needs to redeem himself, and then maybe he dies in the 3rd film or something like that, fighting for the good side. Or the opposite of how we had Darth Vader, because at the same time in Return of the Jedi, I wanted Darth Vader to live. It would have been so awesome to see him on the light and then fight for good again, fight for the rebels, even though they probably wouldn't have him. They would probably try to trial him, which would make sense. He's fucking Darth Vader. But it would have been nice to see that sort of Luke, Vader, and Leia trio with Han Solo in the background there. We never got that. That's the Star Wars we never got. So I don't know, guys. A lot of speculation going on about The Last Jedi. Personally, I think it's a great title. It's very vague. It can also, when they say Jedi, it can mean one or many. So one or plural. We don't know whether it's I think it's just referring to Luke only, and considering that Luke is going to have a lot more focus in episode 8 and then just a small cameo in episode 7. So I think it's just referring to him, going off of what Yoda said in Return of the Jedi, which is a fantastic reference to that. But also, if you notice, the font is red, so that's another thing. I want to know exactly what does that mean that the font is red. We know the First Order uses a very red coloring for their banners and whatnot, so it could be, that's what I said, maybe it could be referring to Kylo Ren, and it shows his betrayal of the Jedi Order. Who knows? Who knows?